Hello and welcome to a new vlog and ship video in cooperation with ReiseJung. We're taking a look at the last 3 days on board of the River Diamond. We are on our second cruise with this beautiful ship, and after visiting the Netherlands and Belgium, we're now back in Germany. We're visiting Düsseldorf and Koblenz before reaching the ReiseJung home port of Hanau. In the morning we reached our berth in Düsseldorf and we started with our first excursion. It was an excursion we've already done last year. We're doing a tour with a heritage tram through Düsseldorf. We've planned a tour together with our tour guide Saskia, which also joined our last tour. This time we planned a whole tour with her together. And now it's time to take a look at the arrival of our train today. With this beautiful old tram, we're now exploring the city of Düsseldorf and its surroundings. Firstly, we're going through the city center, close to the Schadowplatz, where you will find fantastic shopping opportunities. Then we're going past the most spectacular supermarket of Germany. Edeka Zurheide is the biggest and also the most spectacular one, as it even has a Michelin-starred restaurant inside the supermarket. Here we are going past the famous Königsallee shopping street with all those expensive luxurious brands, and then we are reaching the Medienhafen, the media harbor, which is a modern part of the city. And here we had our first toilet stop, as there are no toilets in the tram, but also a photo opportunity to take some pictures of the tram. And we also had a quite nice comparison between the old and a new tram. But then we continued on, driving past the main station of Düsseldorf and heading into the direction of Gerresheim. Gerresheim used to be a city on its own, now it's part of Düsseldorf. It's older than Düsseldorf itself actually, and it is quite famous for the Gerresheimer Glashütte, one of the biggest glass production companies in the world, therefore quite famous. Here in Gerresheim we had our second stop with another possibility to use a toilet, and we also used the time to offer our guests a little drink. Of course, we had some water on board, but we also had so-called killer pitch on board, which is very famous and typical for Düsseldorf. It's a herbal liquor that we offered during our tour through Düsseldorf. It was a long but very nice tour, and thanks to our fantastic guide Saskia, it was never boring. Of course, when you're doing a tour by tram, there are some parts where the tracks are going through an area without sides, but Saskia managed to make even these parts interesting. So it was a fantastic and successful tour. We then brought our guests back on board. And then we decided to visit an old friend. Here we can see the former Swiss Diamond on which we traveled last season. She got an, in our opinion, quite terrible new name, but at least we had a chance to say hello. We then visited Gosh Sylt. We just wanted to have a small snack there, but it was a nice location and the sun was nice, so we had full lunch there. And after that it was time for our afternoon excursion, the Altbier Safari. This is a guided tour through the breweries of Düsseldorf. We're trying the famous Altbier, quite typical for Düsseldorf, and there are a lot of different breweries in the city center. We're visiting 5 of them, trying 5 different Altbier. Also here we had a fantastic guide we already knew from the last time. Angela is a fantastic guide, and she was not only giving a lot of information about beers and Düsseldorf, but it was also a very funny tour, so we really enjoyed that tour, especially with this beautiful weather today. But then it was time to head back on board, as we are now leaving Düsseldorf, continuing on to our next and last destination, Koblenz. On board we enjoyed a fantastic dinner, and then I headed up to the sun deck to enjoy another beautiful sunset. It was quite cold already, but still warm enough to spend a few minutes up here and enjoy the beautiful sunset. And of course we had another evening with good entertainment. Our singers Helga Dirfener Magnusdottir and Reinhard Pohl were performing again tonight, and of course we're gonna listen to them once again.
on my silver spur, said let's pass some time, and I will give to you all, every boy, oh, every boy. Was falsch gesungen? Strawberries, cherries.
After a fantastic evening with those two, it was then time to go to sleep, and on the next morning we were approaching Koblenz. We were shortly leaving the Rhine, going on the river Mosel just for a few meters to reach our berth, and then it was time to discover Koblenz. Koblenz is part of a lot of our cruises, especially when we are starting in Hanau or ending there, as it has a perfect distance to Hanau. We're leaving there in the afternoon. We are in Hanau on time for the disembarkation. But Koblenz is always worth a visit, especially with this nice weather, and my recommendation is enjoying one of the best ice creams of Germany at Egelosia. We then enjoyed lunch on board before leaving Koblenz, sailing back to the Rhine and heading upstream in the direction of Mainz, where we're leaving the Rhine, continuing on the river Main. And that means that we are now gonna get to enjoy the beautiful sailing through the Middle Rhine Valley. Also, this is part of a lot of our cruises, but it's always interesting to see those beautiful castles here in the Middle Rhine Valley and all those beautiful cities that we're gonna sail past on our way to the famous Lorelei. And after the farewell cocktail, it was then finally time to sail past the beautiful and famous rock called Lorelei, before we then enjoyed the culinary highlight of the cruise, the gala dinner, which was of course fantastic again. And now a fantastic cruise is unfortunately slowly coming to an end. After the gala dinner we had a small farewell party. We were dancing and celebrating this fantastic cruise with our guests together. Then it was time to go to sleep, and after a nice last breakfast, it was then time to say goodbye to the beautiful River Diamond. After all of our guests and also we left the ship, she was sailing away in the direction of Basel, where the next charterer will start their cruise. We had a fantastic time on board. We started in Mainz and went via Strasbourg and other cities to Basel and back to Hanau. Now we discovered the Netherlands and Belgium. It was a fantastic cruise, and I hope you enjoyed this series, and I hope maybe you want to join one of our cruises. You will find some information on reisejung.de and via the link in the video description about our upcoming cruises this and next year. Here you can see when the next video will be uploaded with a different topic then, and the name of the song. As always, I'd like to say thanks for watching, hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to comment, like, subscribe or share the video link, and I hope to see you in my next video then.